Oh, look at that start for Elias Ischel. It was too good. He had to drop back. So the point leader is going to have to come from the back of the bus as the rest of the pack charges their way down into the Polaris turn.
Just keeping these sleds ski side down is one of the trickiest parts down that backstretch, especially right off the whole shot. You see the tail end of these sleds just going every which way. But over the AMSOIL finish line, it's going to be Kyle Pauline on the point.
And Daniel Benham and Oscar Norm file in second and third. Look at Ischel. He's already up to fifth and fighting for the fourth spot.
Yeah, Ischel knows that when you need to strike early with this crew. Kyle Pauline leading, Dan Benham, Oscar Norm, Travis Kern, Elias Ischel just ahead of Hunter Patnode.
Oh, it's getting busy there in that battle for the lead. Here comes Daniel Benham coming up alongside Kyle Pauline. They'll split lanes here through the Fox Shocks turn, make the run up the hill. Benham's got the preferred line on the inside. Can he hang on? Whoa, side by side, and Benham almost jumped in front of Pauline. Pauline almost jumps out of the track trying to stay ahead of him.
Here we go, Cat versus Polaris. Dan Benham going to pull ahead just a little bit. He's going to try to make a block pass. Both going to take the outside line through the Polaris corner onto the front stretch.
That's about as hard a racing a lap as you are going to see, with a couple of great racers going at it there as they head back over the AMSOIL finish line jump. So it's now Benham on the point. Drop of Pauline back to second, followed by Norm, Kern, then Patnode, and Ischel has actually dropped back a couple of spots after charging up early. He's settled in back in sixth right now.
And Daniel Benham, we are on lap 3 of 6. Dan Benham with 3 qualifier wins this year. Here we go. Hunter Patnode on the defense, trying to hold off the hard-charging Elias Ischel.
Yeah, and that battle again is back there for the 5th and 6th position as leader Benham clears the U.S. Air Force flyaway. That's about a 90-foot triple jump. As you're looking overhead there at Travis Kern on the 201, he is tucked in behind Oscar Norm, currently running in 4th, and he has a little bit of breathing room over that battle between Patnode and Ischel for 5th and 6th.
It's so interesting seeing these riders take that outside line through the FXR corner, because you can see you continue to take that outside line all the way down. It's rhythms, whereas that inside line's pretty smooth at this point, but that seems to be the faster line as of right now. But we're getting a look at the number, trying to get eyes on that sled, the 201 of Travis Kern crosses the AMSOIL finish line.
And you can see the lane split there in the Fox Shocks corner from our drone camera as they head back up to the FXR turn. And like Haley said, yeah, the inside lane is a lot smoother on the downhill ride, and Kern's going to try to work it now. Meanwhile, Daniel Benham staying high, wide, and handsome here as he comes through the Polaris and Arctic Cat corners, working his way back to the U.S. Air Force flyaway. He'll hit the AMSOIL finish line here, and the white flag is waving.
And like we've talked about this season, teammates pushing each other. Jacob Bjork on the podium last evening with a second in the AMSOIL Pro Class. He and Dan Benham, they go way back. They're buddies, raced together for a long time. You know they're sharing data, sharing secrets. And Dan Benham, he has something to prove. He wants to tell everyone, I am not a one-hit wonder this season. He's hard charging for another one and looking great in this qualifier.
And he'll come around out of that Arctic Cat corner, hit that U.S. Air Force flyaway triple, and he has the win here in this round 1 pro qualifier. Kyle Pauline on the Lavalley Red Bull Polaris in for second. Oscar Norm on the Monster Energy Polaris third. Travis Kern just holding off looks like actually Kern drops a couple of spots. Patnode and Ish got in there for 4th and 5th, followed by Philip Hard, then it's Corin Todd, Travis Kern, and Dalton Shakir. Let's go down to Josie.
Dan Benham taking a heat win. You're getting these qualifying rounds done. Kind of talk about that race and where you were able to capitalize and make the pass to get this heat win.
Yeah, you know, when the track's fresh like this, it's always hard to pass. So I knew I had to make the pass quick at the beginning of the race. And yeah, this all finish Arctic Cat is working awesome. I'm excited for tonight.
Well, good luck the rest of the night.
And that all-finish Arctic Cat team, all smiles at the end of the night last night. Caught up with them, and Jacob Yerk, Daniel Benham, everybody was in high spirits.
Great run for the all-finish concrete-backed, all-finish racing Arctic Cat team out of West Fargo, North Dakota.
All right, so heat number 2, our final heat in round 1 of pro qualifying. Jacob Yerk, who had a podium finish, 1 round to go. He's getting his sled set up on the line right now. He'll be joined by Trent Whitwer on the 115 Arctic Cat, Cody Cam on the 53 Polaris, Emil Har on the 31 Polaris. Then it'll be the Cole Coutu Polaris, the 21, plus Francis Peltier, Adam Peterson, and Logan Christian. Let's get a pre-race report now from Josie.
A rider that we just saw in the last round of qualifying, Elias Isho. I was talking to him earlier today, and he said something he's still working on this season is his hole shots. He's not able to get the clutching right just yet, but going into tonight's racing, he said what he does is he's watching the riders in front of him and looking for their weakness, and then on the next lap, he's going to take advantage and capitalize on that, and he's doing that really well. We saw that in the last round's final when he ended up taking a win, and we also saw that in the last round where he's able to make up so much time, and that's definitely an advantage that he has as one of our top riders.
Look at some of the great crowd on hand here. Some hale and hearty folk here in New York State checking out the action.
A packed house.
Yep, and there goes the Panda.
We appreciate you fans so much for bearing the elements with us here in Salamanca.
Did I just see the Panda getting an Air Force escort?
It would appear so.
That was awesome. Way to go.
Wearing the Shearing Speed Sports official team jacket. Might have been another race fan from the operation or one of our guests we have. We're so fortunate to have guests from the United States Air Force joining us for the U.S. Air Force Snocross National. We have another pro qualifier on tap.
Yep, and in this pro qualifier, the guy that was #1 qualifier won both his rounds last night. That's Logan Christian, teammate to Hunter Patnode on the Shearing Speed Sport U.S. Air Force Skidoo sled. I found Waldo. Waldo's at the races. Hi, Waldo.
Even after last night, a disastrous night for Hunter Patnode, still continues to be your top qualifier based on number of qualifier wins, followed by Logan Christian.
All right, so everybody, you can hear those engines rapping. They're on the button, getting the pipe up to temperature. When they nod their head yes, then the starter will go ahead and put them under starter's orders, and we'll be ready to rock and roll. Final race, round 1 of pro qualifying with a stacked deck. There's the launch off the line. Jacob Bjork trying to come from the outside and beat everybody. Look at that, 7 wide going across the Skidoo rhythm section, and it's going to be Yerk who is going to get into the corner first. A little bit of chaos behind him. Fortunately, everybody stays upright and sorted out, but one sled dropping back as Jacob Yerk leads Adam Peterson going up the hill to the FXR turn.
You know when you start 7 wide that it's going to be chaos in that first corner, but right now another all-finished concrete Arctic Cat looking so strong. A great start for Jacob Yerk. 1, 2, 3 is Yerk, Peterson, Cam.
And there's Francis Peltier. He's wearing the teal blue colors there on the Makita Baja Jerky Skidoo, trying to work his way up from the number 6 spot. And it looks like he may have made up at least one position. Battle for second now. Peterson's got heat coming in the form of Cody Cam as they work their way back up the hill.
The one thing we haven't really seen just yet from Adam Peterson is aggression. A rider who is not afraid to ride aggressively is Cody Cam just behind it. So this could shape up to be a very good battle.
And a nice move there by Peltier. He'll move into the 4th spot ahead of Cole Coutu, teammate to Travis Kern on the Ditch Witch of Minnesota and Iowa sled. Watch it, Adam Peterson carving his way out of the corner, and here comes Peltier trying to make a run at Cody Cam for the 3rd spot with Coutu right behind.
Coutu looking to thread the needle, or he was there heading into that right-hand turn, but right now Cody Cam, Francis Peltier, 2 riders who got together last evening in preceding round in the qualifying race. A very frustrating break for those 2 gentlemen, but right now Cole Coutu all over the 53 of Cody Cam.
Meanwhile, Peltier is on a charge. He was 6th about 2 laps ago, has worked his way up to 3rd, setting his sights now on Adam Peterson in front of him, and Cam trying to get away from Cole Coutu as Jacob Bjork continues to lead the pack here by about 2 seconds.
Yeah, Jacob Bjork over a 2-second lead, trying to stretch his legs here, about a lap and a half remaining for him in this heat race, but Francis Peltier trying to hunt down Adam Peterson, your 3rd place rider.
Now, Peltier got banged up in previous rounds in Dubuque, and as a result only took starts to maintain his points in the previous rounds in Fargo, North Dakota. But he is looking like he is back in prime form here, especially in this qualifier. Still charging after Peterson here, but he's running out of time.
Yeah, Francis got to go home and take a few days off of the sled. Of course, was seeking medical help from professionals to monitor the situation. Took some days off of testing, but did get some seat time in before coming to this race in Salamanca.
taking a different line here. He's going to jump down to the inside. Peterson's going to stay on the outside. Peltier trying to make the run. They're headed toward the white flag. And Peterson, a little bit better run coming out of that corner, able to gap out on him by about 3 or 4 sled lengths. Meanwhile, Jacob Yerk right there in the center of the screen. He's got about 4 sled lengths on Adam Peterson with about half a lap left to go.
France is going to try just about everything to try to make something work here, try to make the pass on Adam Peterson for second, but right now it's looking like this one is for Jake Yerk.
And Yerk will head over the U.S. Air Force Flyway. And how about it? Round 1 pro qualifying swept by the all-finish concrete team. Peltier was only 262 thousandths of a second behind Peterson. They crossed the line almost side by side. We'll give you the rundown in a moment. Let's go down to Josie with our race winner.
Jake is saying, coming off the track, saying it was fun out there, but let's go back to the start. We know hole shots are so important. What are you thinking about, and where do you want to line up on the start in order to get the hole shot that you did?
Well, on this track, it really just depends on what that first whoop looks like. So we're going to keep track of what that's looking like all night, and yeah, just keep doing what we're doing. Run a good, clean first lap, and I think we'll have a good night.
Excited to see you out there. Good luck.
All right, and the rundown was Yerk, Peterson, Peltier, Cody Cam, Logan Christian is your top 5, followed by Cole Coutu, Emil Haar, and Trent Whitwer. So that completes round 1 of pro qualifying here this evening at the U.S. Air Force Snocross National at the Seneca Allegheny Resort and Casino. We're getting ready for the second round of pro light qualifying. You'll see that next on FloRacing.
Seneca Buffalo Creek is in the heart of the city, featuring hometown pride and an energy that can't be beat. Catch up after work, pre-game Buffalo style, and just keep winning. Seneca Buffalo Creek Casino. Nothing else comes close.
Welcome to Sled Check. I'm Dylan with Dennis Kirk, and on this brand new series, we're going to be diving in, taking a look at what it takes to get your sled ready to go out on the trails. Taking a look here, we want to make sure that we have a spare belt as well as tools with you out on the trails. If you guys do feel a little bit of tension in those wheels, it's probably time to get those bearings replaced. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get this battery bracket out of the way so we can get right into the chain case. Moving on over to the cross-country track. Now this one's going to be a much more aggressive track overall. So we're going to start by taking a look at the overall condition of the suspension. Gotten everything out of the way down to that chain case today. So here's what we've gone ahead and done. We've got our ratchet strap going around the base here of the rear shock. If you're looking for more tips, tricks, and techniques for your snowmobile, jump on over to our YouTube channel where you'll be able to watch the full-length videos of Sled Check. I'm Dylan with Dennis Kirk. We'll see you there.
And welcome back to the U.S. Air Force Snocross National here at the Seneca Allegheny Resort and Casino, where it's snowing sideways.
Yes, the wind is blowing. We're experiencing extreme weather. It seems like we always do on Saturday nights, that portion of the show here in New York. But just an added challenge. Vastly different conditions from night to night. But these riders, that's what they've come to expect about snowcross racing.
All right, this is Pro Light round number 2, getting ready to go under starters' orders. Lucas Johansson, Tor Gustafson, Marcus Ogamar, Cale Callan, Sam Lavoie from Quebec, along with Teo Poirier and Matt Lamorier, all in the field. First of 3 heats here in second round of Pro Light qualifying. We're under starters' orders. Pack comes charging down through the Skidoo rhythm section. Ogamar trying to get into the outside corner first. Mission accomplished from Marcus, and nice job, it looks like, by Matt Lamorier, boxing everybody out on the inside to grab the second position. 3 wide for third in the air, and a little contact on the landing.
I was nervous we might see a couple sleds land on top of one another, but Marcus Ogamar taking charge here through the FXR corner. Marcus Ogamar not having the evening he was hoping for last evening in the pro light class, but he has been so fast. Great to see him get the charge out front in this pro light qualifier.
And even though this may look like a big track here from the drone camera, these are smaller, tighter confines than some of the other racing circuits that we run on. So contact is the order of the day. We saw that at the top of the hill a lap ago when Foyer and it looked like Gustafson got into each other a little bit. All right, allow everybody kind of sorted out single file as your race leader continues to be Marcus Ogamar with Lamorier giving chase as they work their way back through the Skidoo rhythm section.
Yeah, Matt Lamorier put together a strong run in his heat race round 2 and round 7 here. He's keeping the rider in front of him, Marcus Ogamar, honest here. Only a second is the distance between he and Marcus Ogamar.
So Matt working his way around the FXR turn here at the top of the hill, and then it's almost like bouncing down a staircase coming down over those stutter bumps off the hill back down here to the flat level where this Skidoo rhythm section is.
And Marcus Ogamar makes his way through to Arctic Cat Corner, double before the AMSOIL finish line, onto lap number 4.
Ogamar had 2 podiums back in rounds 5 and 6 in Fargo, North Dakota, and was running in round 7 up front early in the Pro Light final and then faded back and wound up finishing in the back half of the top 10.
Yeah, Marcus Ogamar, even though off of the podium 1 round to go, still finds himself 4th in the championship points race. And if he is able to win this one, this would chalk up to be his 3rd qualifier win of the 2022 season. 2 to go.
You can see him actually kind of flick the sled there in the air a little bit, shades of what we see two-wheel riders do in Supercross and Motocross, trying to get that sled position to be able to get it back down to the snow and square it up to hit the throttle. There's Matt Lamorier rolling along here. I would call this a Saturday night cruise, but yeah, it's a little bit more difficult than that.
Matt has had a very trying start to the 2022 season, was not able to qualify for the first 4 rounds, but has really stepped it up here in the latest 5 rounds of racing, 3 rounds,
And that's an important thing to mention for those of you that maybe are watching Snocross for the first time. You might be asking, well, what are these qualifiers all about? Haley, why don't we explain that to folks?
Yes, so how this works is each class, here in the Pro Light class, they're going to run 2 qualifiers, a last chance qualifier, and a final. So these qualifiers, your finishing order determines your gate pick, if you will, in the final event.
And if you don't make the top 10, well, you've got to go to that LCQ as Marcus Ogamar gets the checkered flag here. And in the LCQ, only 5 riders, the top 5 finishers, advance. That is a go or go home race. So the finishing order for this one, Ogamar grabs the win, Lamorier grabs second, Teo Playet third, Gustafson 4th, and Samuel Lavoie finishing in the number 5 position. As we get ready for heat number 2, we got to give a shout out to a very hearty group of folks. I'm talking about all of our on-track officials that work out in the elements, not just this particular race, but every race that we do. And a special shout out to my man, Dan the Flagman. Dan Donahoe is up on the finish line filling in for Beach Ball, and this is his swan song. This is his final event after about 30 years of being a racer and an official.
Wow. These, yes, our officials out there all day long. It's not like we have a backup team of officials, flaggers, mobile medical team out there to change out every few races to keep them warm. No, they're out there all weekend long. So hats off to those hardworking men and women.
And you see some of them there taking a breather here for a second before we get ready to launch this second heat of Pro Light. The rundown for this one, Adam Levy is on the 712 Skidoo, Dylan Rose on the 112 Arctic Cat, who had a mechanical issue in his round 1 qualifier, Bailey Forrest on the 341 Polaris for Fratellone Racing. Then you have Jacob Lux on the 307 Arctic Cat. The current runner-up in the Pro Light point standings, Nick Lorenz on the 572 Polaris, who had to win the LCQ 1 round ago just to make the show. Taylor Cole on the 714 Polaris and the 413 Polaris of Evan Doubt out of Minnesota. Wow, just look at that snow.
And in the round 1 qualifiers, our race winners were Jordan LaBelle, Nick Lorenz, and Evan Christian, who happened to be your best qualifiers in this class. LaBelle, 9 qualifier wins, Lorenz with 7, and Christian with 6.
And I've got to think visibility is going to be at a premium here if it continues to snow like this. We've had squalls like this off and on throughout the day. We started the day with winds at about 40 miles an hour. Fortunately, that's calmed down to about 10 to 15 miles per hour. All right, waiting for everybody to nod their head that the pipes are warmed up and they're ready to go. Second heat, round 2, Pro Light. Let's bring it. Nice launch off the inside as they go piling their way down through the Skidoo rhythm section. Looks like maybe one sled had an issue back there. Yep, somebody did crash out. That was Bailey Forrest on the 341. He's back up on the sled. Oh, and you can see the leader getting all sorts of twisted up in the air as Nick Lorenz holds on to the top spot. Battle here for second. Give it to Evan Doubt now as he gets in there. And Taylor Cole trying to fight his way past Dylan Rose for third.
And that's why you can right there see, well, you see Taylor Cole trying to make that inside line work, anything to get around the rider in front of him. That is Dylan Rose, but entering that downhill stretch, very tricky to turn and burn through a very tight hairpin turn. But now onto the front stretch, we see tagging the field there, Bailey Force, who fired right back up after his Adam Levy, the 712. There we see Evan Doubt chasing down your race leader, Nick Lorenz. Nick, like you had mentioned, entering that right-hand corner just over the AMSOIL finish line. You see him really jerk those skis around, turn the handlebars. I'd be willing to bet he didn't get the takeoff he had wanted. Just trying anything you can to keep this sled on track, because especially through the Skidoo rhythm section, you see it just pitching these sleds to tail end, going every which way.
There's Dylan Rose with the 112 and trying to close in behind him is Levy, who has fallen back a little bit in the field. There's Evan Doubt running second right now to Lorenz, who's about 2.5 seconds to the good at the front of the pack. You saw him flash through. And Taylor Cole, riding on that Playstead Company sled, sits back there in the third position.
Taylor Cole, a former Pro Light race winner. We've seen him on the podium earlier this season. Want to take that outside line, as did the rider in front of him for KC Motorsports. That's another Polaris rider, a 413. So your top 3 Polaris riders.
Yeah, we saw the yellow flag waving, and there's the reason why. Adam Levy had an issue, and it looks like he's just trying to get out the leader's way here as Lorenz will bound his way back down the hill, come back into this Skidoo rhythm section. You can see how rough and churned up that section is getting. Every lap, the conditions will change.
And Nick Lorenz, it was a tough break for his round 1 qualifier yesterday. He was leading it until the last lap, got collected by 2 riders getting together. Nick, unfortunately, nowhere to go, so that derailed his qualifier win hopes. Now we're seeing the 413.
Yeah, that was Evan Dow clearing the Adam Levy sled. Not a pass for position, but a pass that at least has Evan Dow now a clear racetrack in front of him. I don't think he's going to have enough time to run down Lorenz, who is about 3 seconds out. But Evan Dowd having a good run here in this round 2 qualifier.
He really is maintaining consistent lap times, but Nick Lorenz now on the final lap, the checkers have come out. Sorry about that, time and scoring tripping us up there with these visibility conditions as well, but a great qualifier win. Another one goes 1-1 on the day for Nick Lorenz.
So the finishing order for this one, Lorenz with the win, Doubt second, Taylor Cole grabs third, Dylan Rose will finish in fourth, followed by Bailey Forrest, and then Adam Levy. And that'll bring us to what will be our final Pro Light heat race. And again, after these heat races, the top 10 are locked into the front row. The rest of the field has to go to an LCQ. We'll step aside when we come back. More Pro Light action to come from here in Salamanca, New York.
Freedom. It's what we're built on, what we live for, what we run on. Run with us. Run Interceptor in your new model year sled, and we'll back you with our Runs on Freedom limited warranty. Learn more and order at AMSOIL.com.
Welcome back to the U.S. Air Force Snocross National here at the Seneca Allegheny Resort and Casino. We are so glad to be back here in New York after a little bit of an absence. Here's the Makita Power Tower. We got a whole host of mechanics and crew members up there and some racers checking out the action. Makita is the official power tool of AMSOIL Championship Snocross.
A lot of times that's where the team manager will be. Great visibility of the entire course. Here overlooking just to the left, that inside line of the start line.
So the rundown for the final heat here in Pro Light round number 2. We're going to have Robert Lundeen on the 77 Skidoo, Carson Allred on the 631 Polaris, Corbin Anderson on the 17 Skidoo, and by the way, shout out to Cameron Anderson, unfortunately not with us this weekend, nursing a sore knee. Evan Christian on the number 33 Polaris, Cody Black on the number 39 Skidoo. Your winner from one round ago, Riley Bester, who busted the Jordan LaBelle win streak at 6. He's on the 151 Polaris. Jordan LaBelle also in this qualifier on the 511 Skidoo. And Anson Shield on the number 44 Arctic Cat. So there is some quality talent in the field in this final qualifier. And that's why these qualifiers are so important, because you have such stacked fields. You definitely want to lock into the top 10. You don't want to have to run that extra race and start from the back row when you've got all of these hot rods out here.
Yeah, less time to work on the sled too, but the trade-off is more lap time, but definitely not another race you want to get yourself mixed up in if you don't have to.
Yeah, and these qualifiers are longer races. The LCQs are pretty much short, sweet, and to the point. Couple 3 laps, you got to lock into the top 5 or you are done. Final Pro Light heat here in round 2. Busts over the Skidoo rhythm section. Riley Bester trying to get out in front of the traffic jam as they arc their way up into the corner. Oh, Bester jumped inside, outside, and it looked like somebody got bogged down or stalled at the back of the field as they come charging over the AMSOIL finish line jump. Out of that whole fracas, it's going to be Corbin Anderson taking over the lead.
Yeah, tough to say. That might have been Bester.
Oh, yeah, and Riley just had contact with Jordan LaBelle. So those two are going to cascade down the qualifying order.
Tough break for 2 very fast racers. The only winners so far in the main events in 2022, but Corbin Anderson has been a strong qualifier. One of his latest coming 1 round of racing ago. Corbin Anderson currently 4 qualifier winners. And then you have just behind him, less than a second the gap, is Evan Christian.
And Evan just made the move past Anson Shield, coming out of the Arctic Cat corner to move into the 2nd position. So now he's going to chase after Corbin Anderson as they come dancing down the hill back into the Skidoo rhythm section. Evan going far inside, but then working his way out. He wants that outside lane. He's going to follow Anderson around the Arctic Cat Polaris turns, and there's an Arctic Cat flag sitting in the inside lane, and the yellow flag is out here. We had a crash just before the finish line jump.
That might have been Cody Flack. The Skidoo sled down just before the AMSOIL finish line. We'll try to get an official word on what the status of that crash has been, but right now, Corbin Anderson hanging out front, but the fastest sled last time by as well. Corbin Anderson, only rider. He is at 1 entire second of a lap time faster than Evan Christian, your 2nd place rider.
Anderson will come out of the corner, and again, you see the official waving the yellow flag, directing traffic to the inside. You see, when the yellow flag comes out, you need to whoa up, keep the sled on the snow. Do not advance your position. Once you're past where the incident is, you're free and clear to put the hammer down.
And a couple of riders who have fired right back up is Jordan LaBelle and Riley Bester, the 2 fastest sleds on the track. Jordan LaBelle, a 33-second lap time. That's was 2 seconds faster than the quickest sled last time by, but Riley Bester just behind him with a 34.774, and Carson Allred. He is tagging the field, but he is the 2nd fastest sled on track. So in terms of lap times, it's Jordan LaBelle, Carson Allred, and Riley Bester, your top 3.
And there's Jordan working his way through the Skidoo rhythm section right now. We go back up front with Corbin Anderson on that MBRP Skidoo sled, bounding his way down off the FXR turn. Look from above, that is Evan Christian up ahead of Anson Shield as they race second and third.
Anson Shield with a P3 in round 7 final, and he was so pumped. He almost didn't know what to do up there. He said, it's been a minute, and it has. Anson Shield, him and the entire team have been working so hard, and we had just witnessed his teammates in the AMSOIL Pro class.
So we're on the final lap here for this final pro-like qualifier at the evening. Corbin Anderson getting a good ride out of it here. He's got about a half a lap to go as he comes back down off the hill past where the start area is. Back down through this very treacherous Skidoo rhythm section.
It is lap after lap. You stand down there and eye level, look at the peaks of these rhythms. It's going away so quickly.
Checkers are going to wave here, and the win with a little flair there for Corbin Anderson. He did a little scrub in the air, close for second and third. Christian holds off Shield by a sled length, and then it looks like Riley Bester came through behind them, and LaBelle in the mix as well, followed by Allreed. And again, Cody Flack was the Skidoo rider that crashed out there just before the AMSOIL finish line. He'll be credited with a 7th place finish. So that's a wrap for Pro Light. The top 10 can go get ready for the final. Everybody else has to get ready for the last chance qualifier. Up next for us, it's the Pro-Am plus 30 final. We can